Coming up, we have Madi reading three poems called Tomorrow, which is a fictional piece, and two nonfiction pieces called Living Through Dying and Only Ever.
Woo! Tomorrow, voices come drifting from their room, growing louder, louder, until I think the whole house is going to cave in on itself. And I lie still, making promises I can't keep. Things will be better tomorrow, tomorrow. A slap echoing through the walls as he hurts not just her, but me too. Silence follows, and I wonder if she's ever going to leave. But then I remember there is that tomorrow looming over her, holding her by the neck more tightly than he does. The second one, Living Through Dying. I've never known anything to hurt more than dying. The strange thing is, sometimes you aren't even aware that you're doing so. I grew thinner at first, but of course I wouldn't have seen that. My hair dulled and broke easily, eyes glazed over, skin grew pale. My spine stood out on skin stretched too tightly, each vertebrae pressed and prominent on my translucent skin. Osteopenia, the beginning stage of osteoporosis, when my bones started to give up on me. An atrophy, when my body ate away at muscles already weakened by lack of food. Eating was no longer a necessity for a girl who feasted on a deep hatred for her own body. A heart that slowed to a regular beat, left alone to function as a depleted muscle and nothing more. I learned to ignore the stares and make promises of being fine. Avoiding lunch and leaving before breakfast, dinner was a battlefield covered in questioned landmines that I had to carefully avoid. Who would have thought there were so many ways to die? It took me a long time, years of an empty body and heart, months without smiling or laughter, days of hating every inch of myself, to realize that I was dying. And for some reason, when I spent my first sleepless night in the emergency room, hooked up to a heart monitor that showed me what death would mean, I cried. Tears that I thought had all been spent. I cried like I had no idea what dying felt like. And then my last piece is called Only Ever. People have asked me why I'm depressed, as if depression was something I picked out of a hat, written on a scrap of paper next to my new school project. And I thought back to a time when my family was full of smiles instead of holes. But everyone has their sad story, so why do I tell mine at all? Because the thoughts never leave. They follow me around, more closely than my own shadow. And when I try to push them away, when I try to shove them into my back pocket with the self-doubt and hatred I still feel, they come back up, gasping for air and begging for my attention. So I empty my heart so as to better feel nothing at all. And the more I say, the less I know about what's really wrong with me, what is really wrong with me. But I was raised by a mother who was strong because she never had the choice. And my father? I could never decide if I admire or detest him for taking his own life. As I aged, I grew inward instead of out. But don't tell me that it's best this way. Don't tell me that I'm better as a medicated teenager who still doesn't know who she is because I never took the time to find out. Don't tell me I'm strong because I only ever recovered. I only ever recovered because I was too scared not to. Too scared to be like my father, who I hated and loved with a passion I never understood, and too scared to be the one to finally break my mother's heart, because she's the one who's always loved me for the mess I am. I'm better because I was always too scared to quit.